Good morning. Yesterday's angling blog entry, I was talking about how busy I'd been work-wise, and I'd managed to get a session in on the canal. Working again today, so I'll be off this morning across England and then across Wales. I didn't go to bed till after midnight, well after midnight, and I was up this morning well before 5. I find that I recover quite quickly. Although I might have a day when I'm really tired after I've been on my travels, I do get over it quite quickly. I think a big thing with that though is the fact that I don't drink alcohol, so I don't get groggy. And getting up so early, I was awake and my body was saying to me, take me fishing. You know what they say, listen to your body. So thought I would come down the canal again. I do fish a number of places, a number of different stretches and sections. This time though, a short lure trip. My usual approach, mini jigging, I enjoy that. You'll catch small perch. So the bigger the lure, obviously the more you eliminate the smaller fish. But what I also find is that just because it's a small bait, it doesn't mean to say you won't catch a big fish. So especially on a short session when by its very nature you're only targeting a certain number of species, you want to make your chances of catching as great as possible. And that for me is where the small lure comes in. Anyway, we'll see how this session goes. The great thing about this type of fishing, of course, is that you can travel light. This morning I've got a tripod, which is an extra. You don't need that if you're not filming. But what you do need is your landing net, your unhooking mat, small bag over your shoulder, and of course the rod and the reel. That's a Fox setup there. It's a matching rod and reel. It is a drop shotting rod, but it works great for this type of fishing. Got braid, as you can see there from the screen, on the reel, and then I've got fluorocarbon at the end, and the business end, that small jig head and the rubber minnow, which threads over the hook and then you work it through the water. It hasn't tempted anything yet this morning so far, but I'm only halfway through the session. Well, I was just preparing my speech to say that I've had nothing, not even a tap, and I'm on my way home, when I hooked into this pike. Thought I would have another cast before I went, and I'm into a second fish immediately as well. I think it's another pike. It is. See, turning in the water there. It's a smaller one. Let's get that one in the net, shall we? It's hooked in a similar way. Yes, 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 there we go. Right, let's get this on the mat and I'll show you in a moment or two what I've just netted. Big pike are great, of course, but whatever the size, they're still lovely fish, aren't they? This is definitely my last cast because I need to get home, have a shower, get changed, and then get on with the rest of the day. I'm off to a village called Penrhyn Coch, which is near Aberystwyth. It's a Welsh League Cup game today between Penrhyn Coch and the New Saints. Round 2. of the Nathaniel MG Cup. That's the sponsors. Be an interesting game. I've never been to the ground before. It's called Kai Baker. Oh, I'll tell you what, let's have another cast. I just hooked the bottom a couple of times there, and when you do, it's always good to check the hook, especially when you're fishing with a small hook like I am. It's just 1 gram, the jig head. It does bend sometimes, so you need to check that. A new ground for me today. If I remember correctly, this might be my 61st Welsh ground. I know I'm in the 60s anyway. I do enjoy ground hopping. Working in football, you get to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Right, let's get this one out of the water, get the gear packed away, back to the car, and then home. And if you are fishing yourself this weekend, tight lines.